We're here to give you guys another little show of what's going on the job site today. With me today, I've got Brian Bickle with Lithko Contracting Incorporated. Lithko's been our concrete contractor out here on Phase 3 since the very beginning. It's been a very challenging concrete job, and we've had some of the largest pours ever recorded in the history of Stillwater right here on this job site. So I'm going to let Brian here take the mic and talk a little bit about what they've been doing out here.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, the largest concrete pour that we know of here in Stillwater was 1,100 cubic yards in one placement. It was 3 concrete pumps. We'd pump from one to the third, and it has a lot to do with the difficulty of this project, with it being a radial layout, and it's tough to get concrete where it goes on a project like this. Like Jim said, we've been here a little over a year. We've got 30,000 yards of concrete in place. About 4,000 tons of reinforcing steel, about 200,000 man hours. So it's been a challenging project, and we've just real glad to be a part of it.
All right, we'll take a scan around here and take a look at what we have going on in the stadium today. We're putting in some railings here in the lower seating area on the bowl. We're finishing up our precast on the north side of the stadium. We've got a couple issues with the precast right now, so we're not hanging anything right at this moment, but we're going to get those issues worked out and keep on moving. We started erecting the structural steel on the north side of the stadium on the outboard, and as you can see, if you scan around, the structural steel for the south half of the stadium is getting nearly complete. We're getting ready to hang some of those frames on the outside that will support the glass wall structure and start doing some enclosure on the stadium. And we're pouring decks up above. Lithko's up there actually today making a concrete pour. And we go up there and take a look at what they're doing with the concrete pour and what goes into putting some of those elevated decks in. We'll also be able to see the view from the field up there. So it'll be you guys' first chance to get a view of what it's going to look like to look out from a suite over the football field. You might be surprised how good the view is from up there.
One of the difficulties of the project that we mentioned earlier was the radial layout, meaning that it's not a square building. The reason that that's important is that we set these anchor bolts in concrete that the structural steel then rests on. The anchor bolts have to be precisely in the right location, and on a radial layout there's not a way to really measure two ways, so you've got to do it all with a total station and instrument with that. The layout point, the beginning point for this project, is on the other side of Gallagher-Iba, which then we have to put into a data collector and then interpolate through there to put these bolts in the right place. Jim, you want to talk a little bit more about the project on this side?
Sure. One thing we've done recently, yesterday we poured the last pour strip on the plaza slab here. This pour strip, you can see the gray area here, we just poured the concrete. That section was left out for 90 days while we poured the bigger slabs in order to be able to let the shrinkage happen in the major slabs. So when we pour the pour strip back in there, we don't have a lot of cracking in the slab. What that does, it allows us to take all the shoring out from down the basement, the plaza, in the field level now, and really clean the area up for us. You'll also notice we moved our 250-ton crane off the slab. With the major precast work being done now, we can back that crane off the slab and begin the erection of the outboard structural steel, which you'll see is going up in the far corner over there. One more thing kind of interesting right here where we're looking is this electrical room layout right down here. You'll see a lot of conduit stubbed up through the slab here, some large conduit and small, and a little electrical room goes in right there. It's just a lot of work to get all those conduits in the slab going where they need to go in the right locations. There's a lot of work that has to happen before we pour concrete in any given slab, and Lithko's done a good job of coordinating that and working with us and making sure those conduits don't get disturbed when they pour the concrete and place the concrete there. Like I said, what we're working right now on concrete work is on the upper decks, so we'll take a trip up the upper decks and see what's going on up there. We're taking a little stop here on the way upstairs just to talk about the masonry work for a little while. We've got the first bricks set in the project right over here in these 2 columns to go up to the mezzanine level. We're working on the outboard masonry on the first tower, the south tower right over here. This block work is all going to be backup for the brick, so that we're getting ready to put brick on right now. We're going about 4 stories high with the block work, then we'll drop the scaffold down and start putting the brick in. They're bringing the pallets of brick around the other side right now, getting ready to put it up. So you're going to start seeing the exterior facade on the west side of the stadium starting to go up and starting to look good. You can see the concrete pump down below us. We're also backfilling over the top of the loading dock down there. Concrete pump is pumping the deck above right now, which is actually the suites level. Putting our first slab pour up in the suites level today. And we were going to go up there and take some better footage for you, but it's really difficult to get up there right now with the work going on. They've poured all the concrete and it's all wet right out to the place where those guys are walking up the stairs right there. So there's not a whole lot of access up there right now. But anyway, this is one of our decks we just poured recently here, the upper club deck right here. This will actually be a suites area as well. And you can see the frames hanging out there. We're getting ready to start framing the window walls. Brian's up here with us. We're going to talk a little bit about what it takes to put one of these concrete decks in at an elevated deck up here. Brian?
Thanks, Jim. Unlike the floors below, this is just a wear surface for people to walk on. The floor below, it's a structural member of the building that holds the building in place. Even though it's just a wear surface, it's really the same challenges to get the work in place. Like Jim was saying, we pump everything up because we're at a high elevation, don't really use a crane here. The way it works is the ironworkers put down the metal decking, we put in reinforcing mesh, and then we back out for the other trades with the electricians and the plumbers to run their conduits and pipes. And then we come in and place the concrete, put big trowel machines on it and give them a nice flat wearing surface.
We'll go take a look at the view of the field from here, because this is one of the suites levels where you'll be able to see down below us, bringing this south tower up to full height. They're going to stop when they reach the next floor and drop down and do the brick. But these guys are constantly working at heights up here. They're working at heights of up to 120 feet on this project. And this is just what they do every day when they come to work. What's called the upper club level right now, the same level we just walked to the other side of it. And this is the view of the stadium from the upper club suites, which is the lower elevation of suites that we have in the west end zone. You can see that this is a corner suite, and just an awesome view of the field from up here. It's a great vantage point to watch a game from. You can see the plays developing as they're coming towards you. We hope that by the time we get to the Texas game in November that we have all the lower bowl precast put in place and some of the structural steel rising up above the north side, working towards the center of the stadium. Okay, we've come down the basement, which is what we call the field level now. And we've been in here before, but things have really cleared out a lot since we came down here last. This is the weight room area. It's actually, 20,000 square feet of a weight room area for the football players. They'll actually be able to run timed 40-yard dash trials down here in the basement of the football stadium in this weight room. What we're looking at down here is just some of the progress. We've got some block work that's gone up, a lot of duct work's gone up, and a lot of drain lines have gone up. And you can see the last of our shoring down here, and I'll let Brian talk a little bit about the shoring that's down here and why it's still here and when it's going to go away.
The shoring is to hold up the pour strip that we saw up above earlier. Like Jim said, the pour strip is to allow the building to shrink and then go back to fill it in. About 1,000 pounds per square foot of form pressure on this shoring. Once the shoring reaches 75% strength, then it's safe to wreck it out and allow the drain lines to be tied in and dry in the basement, which is critical to the progress of the project. I think we're scheduled to pull the shoring next week, so it'll be late next week. We'll be at 75% strength and really be able to turn the space loose and let the finished trades get in here.
I think that's going to wrap up our video for today. We need to get back to work here, but we enjoy doing this and letting you guys see a little bit into what the construction's going on down here and what we're doing. And if you guys have any questions, you can mail them into OSU. Maybe we can answer them in our next video. So for now, it's over and out, and we're back to work and look forward to Texas A&M this weekend.